My child, listen to me closely, because what I'm about to tell you is not just a story, it is a revelation, a truth wrapped in shadows, a reality hidden behind the walls of a hospital room that no one in that building will ever forget. Something happened just a short while ago, something so unsettling, so chilling, so unbelievable that even the strongest hearts felt their courage collapse. And this event, my child, is not disconnected from you. Not distant. Not random. Because the woman at the center of this terrifying moment, her identity will shake you when I finally reveal it. But before I take you there, before I uncover the truth, I need you to open your heart and keep your spirit steady. What you're about to hear is not light, not gentle, not something you can brush aside. It is heavy. It is real. It is spiritually dangerous. And yet, it is necessary for you to hear today. My child, picture a hospital corridor. Bright lights, polished floors, nurses rushing back and forth with hurried footsteps. But hidden behind one door, behind one thick curtain, something was happening that silenced even the angels for a moment. Inside that room, a woman was lying on a delivery bed. Sweat covered her forehead. Her fingers gripped the sheets. Her body fought through waves of unbearable pain. But the pain she felt was not the pain of life entering the world, it was the pain of something far darker trying to escape. Doctors stood around her, giving instructions quickly, their voices filled with urgency. Push. We're losing time. Get the oxygen, now. Machines beeped wildly, rising higher, faster, louder, a sound that made even the nurses' hands tremble. Something was wrong. Something felt unnatural. Something felt cursed. But the strangest thing in that entire room was not the chaos, not the fear, not the stress filling every inch of air. No, my child. The most disturbing thing was the calmness of the woman giving birth. Her eyes were not filled with fear. Her lips were not trembling. Her spirit did not seem shaken. While everyone else panicked, she was still, too still, unnaturally still, like someone who already knew how this would end. Like someone who had accepted something everyone else was too afraid to understand. The doctors tried everything. They kept shouting instructions. They worked desperately. But each passing second felt like a hand of darkness tightened around the child inside her. Minutes dragged like hours. Breaths felt heavy. Whispers filled the corners of the room. And then, it happened. My child, there are moments in life that break the air itself, that freeze the world, that crush the atmosphere so hard that even the walls seem to shake. This was one of those moments. The baby came out. But there was no cry. No sound. No movement. No heartbeat. The room turned silent. Painfully silent. A nurse gasped. A doctor covered her mouth. Another stepped backward, as if pushed by an unseen force. Tears gathered in someone's eyes. Fear gathered in everyone's soul. But the mother, she did not scream. She did not collapse. She did not cry. She did not curse. She did not question God, fate, destiny, or the heavens. Instead, she lifted her head slightly, looked upward, closed her eyes, and whispered, "Thank you." The words escaped her lips so softly, yet so clearly, that every person in that room felt their heart freeze. Some took a step back. Some stared with disbelief. Others looked at her like she had lost her mind. A mother, thanking God, for a dead child? My child, even you are asking the same question right now. Why? Why would she say that? What was she grateful for? What did she know that no one else did? What truth was she hiding inside her silence? Her "thank you" was not madness. It was not confusion. It was not shock. It was relief. But why? Why would a mother be relieved that her baby was born without breath? What horror did she know? What truth was she carrying? What future was she avoiding? My child, listen carefully. Because now, we enter the part of the story that bends the mind, twists the heart, and reveals something so dark it makes even demons shiver. The father of the child she carried was not human. Not a man. Not someone from this world. Not someone born of flesh and blood. The father of that unborn child was a presence, a shadow given form, a whisper with hands, an ancient darkness that had waited for years, searching for the perfect vessel through which to enter this world. He came to her gently at first, in dreams, in whispers, in temptations that looked harmless. She opened one door. Then another. And then another. Until one day, she was no longer in control. She had invited something she did not understand. She willingly allowed the presence in. Willingly invited him. Willingly conceived. My child, she did not realize who, or what, she was carrying. Not until it was too late. And when she finally understood, when she finally saw the nature of the father, when the mask fell and the real face of that presence revealed itself. She knew the truth: if this child lived, the world would not be safe. If this child survived, darkness would rise. If this child took breath, innocence would break. And so, my child, her "thank you" was not to celebrate death, but to celebrate protection. Protection for families. Protection for souls that would have suffered under the shadow of a child born from darkness. She whispered "thank you," because she knew that heaven had intervened. But listen to this, my child, listen carefully. Because what I'm about to tell you next will make your heart jump. That woman is not far from you. She is not someone you will never meet. Not someone from another country. She lives close to you. Very close. A few turns away from your street. A few minutes from your home. My child, you have walked near her without realizing it. Her footsteps have passed near yours. Her shadow has crossed your path before. And the same darkness that once targeted her, once hovered near her, once tried to enter through her, has turned its eyes toward you. Yes, my child. That presence, that ancient shadow, knows your name. It knows your strength. It knows your calling. This is why your spirit has felt attacked. This is why a weight has followed you quietly. But do not fear. Do not let this truth shake you. Because I have not abandoned you. Every tear you shed in private, I saw. Every time the weight felt too much, I lifted it. My child, you don't even look like what you have survived. You should have drowned under the pressure. But here you are, standing, breathing, smiling, surviving. Not because you are weak. But because you are chosen. And now, my child, your story is about to shift. The battle around you is ending. The storm over your mind is calming. The heaviness in your chest is lifting. You are entering a new season, a season where peace replaces chaos, where blessings replace losses, where clarity replaces confusion. I am breaking every shadow seeking you. I am lifting every weight pressing on your life. My child, this is only the beginning. My child, before I reveal the deeper truth behind this woman's story, before I uncover what really happened inside that hospital room, you must understand one thing clearly: nothing in this world, nothing in the spiritual realm, nothing in the unseen battles around you ever happens without a reason. That woman didn't suffer by accident. That child didn't die by coincidence. And the timing of when you are hearing this message is not random. You are hearing this because something in the unseen has shifted around you, something that concerns your life, your future, your calling, and your spiritual atmosphere. So listen closely, because what happened next inside that hospital room is the part no one outside those walls will ever know, except you, because I am revealing it now. When the baby was lifted into the doctor's hands, silent, still, breathless, something strange happened. The air in the room grew heavier, thicker, almost as if the room itself exhaled after holding its breath for too long. The doctors thought it was grief. The nurses thought it was shock. But the mother, she knew. Deep inside her chest, she understood something the others were blind to. She felt a shift, a breaking, a severing of a link she didn't even realize had wrapped itself around her soul. Because the moment the child left her body, the darkness that had been attached to her for months was pushed away. The shadow that had followed her everywhere loosened its grip. The presence that had hovered over her bed each night suddenly withdrew, like a beast realizing its plan had collapsed. She felt the weight leave her ribcage. She felt the air return to her lungs. She felt a freedom she hadn't breathed in months. That was why she whispered, "Thank you." It was the breath of a prisoner walking out of a cage. The others thought she was losing her mind, but what she whispered wasn't madness, it was revelation. Her eyes widened, not in grief, but in realization. She finally understood the truth: the child she carried was never meant for life. It was meant to be a gateway. A doorway through which something ancient would cross. A vessel for a presence that waited centuries for a chance to enter the world wrapped in human flesh. A child born from a human body but filled with something not human at all. A host. A carrier. A vessel. And when she realized what her child would have become, she didn't mourn the loss, she mourned what could have happened if heaven didn't intervene. That "thank you" was her accepting that the world had been spared. A single life lost, but millions protected. One mother's heart broken, but countless souls saved. That is the weight she carried. The knowledge that her suffering prevented a far greater darkness from spreading. But my child, this is where the revelation tightens around you, because that woman wasn't just any random person chosen at random by darkness. No. She was chosen for a reason, because the presence knew something about her family line. Something about her ancestry. Something about the spiritual cracks in her bloodline that made her vulnerable. The shadow targeted her because her family had a doorway open, a spiritual weakness that allowed a dark being to enter through dreams, through emotions, through loneliness, through temptation. She opened a door without knowing it, and what entered took root quickly. And now, my child, let me tell you something that may send chills through your spirit: the darkness that once sought her has shifted its attention. After losing its chance through her, it began searching for another vessel. A nearby soul. Someone spiritually sensitive. Someone emotionally open. Someone carrying destiny. Someone with a future heaven has marked. Someone who has been fighting unseen battles for years. And do you know who that someone is? You. Yes, my child, the shadow has been circling you. Watching you. Studying you. Trying to find where your weaknesses are. Trying to slip through your fears. Trying to creep in through your loneliness. Trying to whisper lies in your ear when you are most tired. Trying to attack your mind when you are most vulnerable. This is why some nights you feel heavy when waking up. This is why your dreams have been strange, confusing, and disturbing. This is why you sometimes feel like something is watching you even when you're alone. This is why your mood suddenly drops for no reason. This is why your heart sometimes races without cause. This is why you sometimes feel drained even after resting. These are signs of spiritual pressure, signs that something has been attempting to come near your life. But do not fear, my child, because just as heaven intervened for that woman, heaven is intervening for you too. You are not unprotected. You are not walking through this alone. You have been surrounded by angels since the day you were born, angels who have kept you alive through moments you didn't even know were dangerous. There were attacks set against you that never reached you. There were traps planned around you that never touched you. There were people who tried to harm you without success. There were situations that could have destroyed you but somehow didn't. You think it was luck, but it wasn't. It was protection. It was divine covering. It was heaven stepping in on your behalf. My child, do you realize how many times you should have fallen and didn't? How many times your heart should have shattered permanently but somehow kept beating? How many nights you should have drowned in your own pain but somehow made it through the morning? How many situations should have ruined your future but ended up making you stronger? Do you understand that this isn't ordinary resilience? This is supernatural strength placed inside you. You were never walking alone. You were never fighting by yourself. You were never abandoned, not even for a moment. You carry a light inside you that threatens darkness. You carry a purpose that scares the shadows. You carry a destiny that the enemy wants to prevent. This is why your battles have been so heavy. This is why your life has never been easy. This is why people have betrayed you unexpectedly. This is why friends have shifted, relationships have broken, opportunities have slipped away, and heartbreaks have come out of nowhere. The enemy attacks what carries potential. The enemy pressures what carries power. The enemy targets what carries purpose. And my child, you carry all three. This is why your spirit gets tired so easily. This is why your heart feels things deeply. This is why your mind fights invisible wars. This is why your emotions fluctuate without explanation. This is why your body feels weak at times when nothing is wrong physically. These are not random experiences, these are signs of spiritual sensitivity. Your soul feels what others cannot sense. You pick up vibrations others ignore. You absorb atmospheres others walk past. Your spirit reacts to unseen things because you were born with a calling that requires you to feel the spiritual world more intensely. And this is exactly why the darkness once targeted that woman, and now observes you. It wants to silence your gift. It wants to confuse your thoughts. It wants to drain your energy. It wants to make you feel unworthy. It wants to convince you that you're alone. It wants to break your spirit so you surrender your destiny before reaching it. But heaven refuses to let that happen. Just like the woman in that hospital room received divine intervention at the last moment, you too are receiving heavenly interference right now. Barriers are being placed around your life. The spiritual atmosphere around you is being cleansed. The whispers that used to fill your mind are being silenced. The heaviness on your chest is being lifted. The fear that sat in your stomach is being removed. The shadows that lingered near you are being pushed far away. You are not stepping into darkness, you are stepping out of it. My child, hear me, your mind will not break. Your heart will not collapse. Your future will not be stolen. Your destiny will not be destroyed. You are shifting into a new chapter where the same darkness that once followed you will no longer have access to you. You are being covered more intensely now. You are being protected more strongly now. You are being surrounded by angels who are not just watching but fighting for you. My child, now that your spirit is steady and your heart is awake, I can finally reveal the connection, the link, the hidden thread tying you to that woman in ways you never sensed before. This truth is not light, not simple, not something you can hear casually. It requires courage. It requires openness. It requires that you listen not with your ears, but with your spirit. Because the reason her story entered your life today is not by accident. Her suffering, her encounter with darkness, her whisper of gratitude, these things are mirrors reflecting a deeper reality connected to you. The woman who delivered that child, the woman who whispered, "Thank you," with a heart shattered yet relieved, the woman whose life brushed against the edge of a spiritual disaster, she was not targeted randomly. Darkness does not waste time on random souls. Darkness attacks strategically, purposefully, intentionally. And when it loses one vessel, it does not rest. It looks for another. It moves. It shifts. It hunts for a new opening. And that woman, my child, was not chosen for her weakness. She was chosen because something in her bloodline made her vulnerable to spiritual deception. Something in her lineage carried an opening that had never been closed. And now, pay attention, because the same opening exists in your bloodline too. You and that woman belong to a spiritual pattern, a generational thread that the darkness once used to travel, a doorway created long before you were born. The attacks on your mind, the heaviness in your dreams, the sudden fear, the unexpected sadness, the unexplained anxiety, these are not random events. These are echoes of the same pattern that once nearly consumed her. You have been feeling things you cannot explain. You have been sensing things without knowing why. You have been carrying burdens that don't belong to you. These are signs that something ancient has been observing you, testing you, trying to see if you are a suitable opening. But my child, let me tell you clearly, you are not like her. You are spiritually stronger, spiritually louder, spiritually brighter. You carry a higher calling, a deeper purpose, a destiny designed to break generational patterns instead of falling into them. This is why darkness is drawn to you. Light attracts attack. Purpose attracts pressure. Destiny attracts warfare. The presence that once tried to enter the world through her turned its gaze toward you the moment it lost its chance. But what it saw in you was not vulnerability, it was resistance. A spiritual barrier it could not understand. A glow it could not dim. A strength it could not penetrate. This is why the attacks on your life have been emotional instead of physical, mental instead of visible. Darkness cannot step into your life directly, so it tries to weaken your spirit. It tries to break your mind. It tries to whisper lies. It tries to weigh your heart down until you surrender your strength without realizing it. And when you feel exhausted for no reason, when you feel sad out of nowhere, when you feel overwhelmed even though nothing is wrong, when you feel disconnected, numb or lost, that is the darkness pushing against your spirit, searching for a crack. But every time it pushed, heaven pushed back harder. My child, do you know why you are still standing today? Do you know why your heart is still beating with hope? Do you know why your mind didn't collapse under pressure? Do you know why you didn't fall into the same trap that woman did? Because angels positioned themselves around you long before the enemy arrived. Because divine protection covered you long before the attack began. Because the one who created you refuses to let darkness write your story. You were preserved. You were shielded. You were guarded. Every night you cried alone, every moment you felt your soul break, every time you whispered, "I can't take this anymore," heaven heard you. Heaven intervened. Heaven lifted you. You have survived storms that were meant to destroy you. You have survived heartbreaks that should have shattered you. You have survived disappointments that should have drained your hope forever. But here you are, still breathing, still believing, still rising. And now comes the part you must understand: the darkness is not after your destruction. It is after your purpose. It sees what heaven placed inside you. It sees your future victories. It sees the calling you carry. It sees the light you don't even recognize yet. It sees the breakthroughs that are coming toward you. It sees the blessings being prepared for your life. And it knows that once you step fully into your purpose, you will destroy every generational pattern that once destroyed others. My child, you are not ordinary. You are not simple. You are not average. Your spirit has been chosen for something mighty, something uncommon, something powerful. You are the one in your bloodline who will break what others could not. You are the one who will heal wounds carried for generations. You are the one who will end the battles that began long before you. You are the one who will close doors that darkness once used. You are the one who will stand where others fell. That is why the enemy wanted you. And that is why heaven protects you so fiercely. Now listen carefully, because I must reveal the truth about the woman. You are spiritually connected to her through a pattern, not through relationship. Her story reached you because heaven chose you to complete what she could not. She fought a silent war alone. She struggled without guidance. She was attacked without understanding. She survived but broken. You, however, are not alone. You are not vulnerable. You are not blind to the truth. You now know what she never understood. You now see what she never recognized. And you now carry the strength she never had. You are the one chosen to end the cycle. And now, my child, let me tell you something you may have felt but never understood: the reason your life has been full of spiritual pressure, emotional heaviness, strange dreams, unexpected battles, sudden losses, broken friendships, weird shifts in people's behavior, and moments of deep inner conflict is because you are transitioning into the season where heaven activates your protection fully. The darkness knows it is losing access to you. It knows its time is ending. It feels the walls closing in. And so it tries to attack your mind one last time. But every attack is failing. Every lie is collapsing. Every plan is falling apart. Because heaven has already made its decision, you will rise. The next part of your life is not filled with fear. It is filled with breakthrough. The next phase of your journey is not filled with darkness. It is filled with light. The next chapter of your story is not filled with struggle. It is filled with peace, clarity, and divine alignment. You are stepping into a season where everything that once drained you will leave your life. Every shadow that once followed you will disappear. Every heavy feeling in your spirit will lift. You are entering a moment where protection multiplies around you, where blessings surround you, where opportunities chase you, where joy returns to your heart, and where your purpose becomes unshakably clear. But my child, before I take you into this new season, there is still one last truth, one final revelation, one piece of this story that will complete the entire picture: the truth about why the darkness targeted your lineage, the truth about what the child was meant to become, and the truth about the spiritual inheritance waiting for you. My child, now take a deep breath, because this is the moment when the final truth unfolds, the moment when everything you heard until now connects into one revelation. You have walked through the story of that woman, you have seen the shadows around her, you have felt the weight of her pain, and you have understood why she whispered, "Thank you," in the middle of devastation. But now it's time to uncover what was hidden underneath the surface. Something deeper than darkness, something older than fear, something that didn't just connect you to her story, but positioned you in the center of a spiritual battle that began long before you were born. My child, the presence that fathered that child was not simply a wandering darkness. It was an ancient entity, older than empires, older than civilizations, older than the stories of demons or spirits human beings have written about. It was a presence that once had power, influence, and authority in realms unseen, but it was cast out long ago. And ever since that moment, it has been searching, moving from place to place, from lineage to lineage, from house to house, looking for a doorway, a vessel, a body through which it could return to influence the human world. It cannot enter openly. It cannot walk through the front gates of the earth. It needs a human host, a child born from human flesh, carrying enough spiritual openness for it to take root. That was why it chose the woman. That was why it targeted her bloodline. And that was why the world shifted when her child was born lifeless. Because that child was meant to be a door. Not a normal child. Not a simple infant. Not a human soul with a human purpose. It was meant to be a container, a shell, a gateway through which something dark could be reborn into this world. And now listen carefully, because this is where the story reaches you. That woman's bloodline is connected to yours in a spiritual pattern. Not by family ties, but by spiritual cracks, unclosed doorways created generations before you existed. These cracks allow darkness to observe, to test, to whisper, to attempt to influence. For generations, these cracks went unnoticed. For generations, no one closed them. For generations, the pattern repeated. Attacks, emotional battles, mental warfare, unexplained fear, brokenness passed from parent to child, from child to grandchild. And the enemy used these cracks to search for a vessel. That presence tried to enter through your lineage once before. It failed. It tried again. It failed again. It attempted through different generations, through different lives, through different vulnerabilities, and each time, heaven intervened. Each time, the enemy was stopped. But the cracks remained. The pattern stayed. And when that woman opened her heart to something she did not understand, the presence thought it had finally found the opening. But heaven still refused to surrender. So when that child was born without breath, it was not tragedy, it was protection. Not punishment, intervention. But the enemy does not give up easily. When one door closes, it searches for another. When one vessel fails, it looks for a new host. And when it lost its chance through that woman, it turned its eyes toward the nearest spiritual glow, the nearest soul marked by purpose, the nearest person whose destiny threatened the darkness. It turned toward you. Yes, my child, it came near you. It observed you. It circled you. It tested you. You felt the weight of it without knowing what it was. You felt pressure on your mind without a reason. You felt heaviness in your chest at night. You felt sudden sadness. You felt waves of anxiety. You felt confusion rise in moments that should have been peaceful. You felt spiritual fatigue. You felt your energy drain unexpectedly. Those were not random emotional shifts, they were the consequences of a presence trying to see if your spirit could be broken, if your mind could be weakened, if your heart could be cracked open like the woman before you. But my child, you are not her. You are not vulnerable like she was. You are not spiritually blind. You are not unaware. You do not walk alone. You do not wander without protection. Your spirit is sharper, brighter, louder. And even without knowing the specifics, your heart rejected every whisper, every dark suggestion, every emotional trap. Heaven surrounded you. Angels stood guard around you. Your purpose created a shield that darkness could not penetrate. That presence realized something after observing you closely. It saw that you are not a doorway. You are a wall. A barrier. A breaker. A destroyer of generational patterns. And instead of gaining access through you, it lost even the footholds it once had in your lineage. You didn't just escape the attack, you weakened the enemy's influence across your entire bloodline. You survived what others surrendered to. My child, do you understand what this means? Your life is shifting. The spiritual weight on your shoulders is being lifted. The confusion that followed you is breaking. The emotional heaviness is dissolving. Your dreams will calm. Your mind will clear. Your heart will feel lighter. Opportunities will reopen. Your purpose will shine. You will begin to walk in peace, in clarity, in protection. The same darkness that once searched for you will never touch you again. The enemy has been defeated. The pattern is broken. The cycle is ended. The spiritual door is sealed. And now a new season begins. My child, your future will not resemble your past. The struggles you walked through will not repeat. The battles you fought silently will not return. The attacks that weighed down your spirit will fall away like dust. You are entering a chapter where blessings will flow without interruption, where favor will find you without effort, where opportunities will come without strain, where breakthroughs will appear without delay. Heaven has declared that you are stepping out of warfare and stepping into peace. You are stepping out of darkness and stepping into purpose. You are stepping out of fear and stepping into strength. And I want you to understand something deeper. The reason you survived every battle was not luck, it was preparation. You were being prepared for the life you are about to step into. You were being strengthened for the blessings that are coming. You were being shaped for the destiny waiting ahead. The storms you faced built you. The heartbreaks expanded you. The disappointments refined you. The nights you cried made your spirit stronger. The silence you endured sharpened your intuition. The loneliness you felt trained your soul. You are not stepping into this new season unprepared, you are stepping in fully equipped. You will begin to feel joy where there used to be heaviness. You will begin to feel clarity where there used to be confusion. You will begin to feel guidance where there used to be doubt. You will begin to feel protection where there used to be fear. You will begin to feel peace where there used to be pressure. You are protected. You are covered. You are chosen. You are rising. And nothing, my child, absolutely nothing, can stop what heaven has written for you.